Hey guys, it's Justine.
And I'm Jenna.
Welcome to episode 22 of the Same Brain podcast. And today we have got some very special guests.
We have Alex and Shruti with Apple here to talk about all things M1. Roll that Apple intro. Announced 3 new products, all with the M1 chip.
So we've got the new MacBook Air, the 13-inch MacBook Pro, and the Mac Mini. Now, the Mac Mini, I definitely thought that they were going to announce because they had been sending out developer kits since WWDC to developers to start developing on this new M1 chip. So these are 3 new devices just launched.
I kind of assumed that the Air was going to be a thing too, but the MacBook Pro, I wasn't sure. And when they announced it, I silently screamed.
You silently screamed?
Yeah, because I was out in public.
Well, you were at the Apple Store.
I was at the Apple Store, and it was great because there was no one there because it's appointment only. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, they did it!
So exciting. I was actually at home watching, and Tyler was here, and I did not silently scream. I was like, oh, this is great. So what's really exciting though is today we have our special guests from Apple here to chat with us and answer some of our questions. So let's just bring them on in here.
We have them on the line.
We've got them on the line. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on our podcast. I know you have a crazy busy week. So if you guys want to just quickly introduce yourselves to our podcast audience, that'd be amazing.
Sure. My name is Shruti Haldia. I'm a product line manager for the Pro Mac hardware business.
Hi, I'm Alex Yu. I am a Mac product manager.
So you guys had a very busy week with these big introductions. This one more thing was something that I think we've all been waiting for. I mean, I remember the transition from PowerPC to Intel, and I just keep telling people, I'm like, this is a huge moment. I think a lot of people don't understand how impactful and powerful and what this means for the future of Apple hardware. So I'm so glad that you guys can be here to discuss that with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Let's talk about the M1 chip. Like, it's new, it's exciting. Like, what does this mean for the future? But also, I guess the future is now.
Yeah, we're extremely excited about what the Apple M1 chip means for the future. As we talked about in the keynote yesterday, we designed the Apple M1 chip with like a relentless focus on power efficiency. And the M1 chip is designed for lower power systems where power efficiency and small size are, critically important. This means that we can design products like, the new products we talked about yesterday, where you have incredible performance paired with awesome power efficiency and extraordinary battery life. So we're just super excited about what that means for today and also for the future.
So clearly it's been working on iPad and iPhone, so it's very exciting to see it come to Mac as well.
Something Shruti just said there, I want to take a moment for your listeners to absorb and really understand, because it's remarkable what M1 brings to our customers. It's this idea of incredible performance and low power, or let's call it battery. You're more familiar with technology than anyone, and typically you would be choosing one of these, or you might be balancing the two. Well, with M1, you are getting that insane performance with the 8-core CPU, the 8-core GPU. But with the industry-leading power efficiency of M1, you're also getting the longest battery life ever on a Mac. This just doesn't happen in the industry, and it's really why M1 is just a total game changer.
A lot of people on Twitter were asking me this question. I'm like, I'm not actually sure. They were talking about sort of this 2-year transition period. A lot of people also have Intel Macs, and you guys still have Intel Macs, in your inventory. You guys still going to be supporting Intel? Like, how's this all going to work?
First of all, Intel-based Macs we still have them in our lineup, and we're going to support them for years to come. macOS Big Sur is critical for powering M1 Macs, but it's also an awesome update for Intel-based Macs with its beautiful design, updates to Safari maps and messages. We'll continue to support Intel-based Macs for years and years. I hope customers feel really reassured. Now, in terms of the 2-year transition, that's the transition to Apple Silicon. M1 was the beginning of that transition, and the 2 years will be to bring all of our products to Apple Silicon.
For sure, because I know I've still got that Mac Pro, which is so powerful. It's so impressive. So it's great to know that you guys are still supporting that as well. Moving forward, I just want to jump into this. The fact that you guys were mentioning that you can do iPad and iPhone apps now on the Mac is really impressive. I mean, this is huge for developers to be able to get their apps in front of more people, but also for us.
Oh, yeah.
We have a whole new library of apps that we can work with.
It's so true. Now that we have a common architecture with iOS, we can make a huge array of iPhone and iPad apps available to Mac customers, making their experience across Apple devices so much more seamless. I'm really excited for things like, games that I can play on my Mac, whether it's, Among Us or Lemmings or, Crossy Road. It's just so fun to have those options now. And we can't wait to see what developers do with all this.
I mean, you had me at Among Us.
And what's incredible about this is just the unifying the experience, carrying workflows through from one device to another. These sorts of things would just be seamless. I mean, and that's just huge for our customers.
Yeah, even doing like photo editing and stuff like that too. There's so many really fun, easy to use like photo editing apps on the iPhone that you can now just kind of pop in, do that same edit, and then bring it back to your computer as well. So it's cool.
Absolutely. There's a great one. Graphite Sketchbook is so much fun to use on my iPhone, and I'm really excited to just have it on my Mac. And I know my kids will also love that.
That's cool.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, once you get your hands on it, you're going to be like, how did I live without this? So I am really excited for the full transition soon.
Even just something so small as copying and pasting, like my iPhone will just automatically think like, oh, you wanted to copy and paste this from your Mac? Like something just that simple. I don't know how I've lived without it.
True.
These types of new experiences, being able to design macOS Big Sur specifically for our own silicon. Craig did a great job showing off the instant wake from sleep. He's probably been immortalized now on the internet with that scene. But it's just little things like that just bring the magic. These are things only Apple could do with the tight integration of hardware and software.
Yeah, I mean, even unlocking your Mac with your Apple Watch, like the U1 chip, like these things, it's really bringing the Mac ecosystem. I mean, it really is making everything work together.
Yeah, it's just bringing it full circle.
You guys announced 3 new M1 chip devices today.
Hold on there.
Round of applause. Here we go. Everybody, there it is.
Three new ones.
So maybe let's start with the MacBook Air, because I remember when this was first introduced and pulled out of that envelope, which I've already have ordered some envelopes so that as soon as I get this, I will be also recreating this moment. But let's talk about this. I mean, it's silent. It's incredibly powerful. So what can we expect when we get our hands on one?
I think you're going to absolutely love it. The new MacBook Air with M1, it literally redefines what a thin and light notebook can do. You get incredible performance paired with amazing battery life, and you get an upgrade to your camera experience as well. To 3.5 times faster CPU performance, up to 5 times faster graphics performance, up to 9 times faster ML performance. So as a result, the Air is even more awesome for everyday tasks, from like email to web browsing to watching videos. But you can now do things on your Air that you may never have dreamed of doing before. Like imagine doing, and I know you guys are awesome video editors, but editing multiple streams of 4K ProRes video in Final Cut, all on your MacBook Air. And imagine, all that performance in a design that's completely silent because it is fanless. And it also means that battery life is awesome. You have up to 15 hours of wireless web browsing and up to 18 hours of video playback, which is 6 more hours of video playback than the previous generation. And then the camera experience got an upgrade as well with M1's camera ISP. You get better noise reduction, so that means you get sharper images, and there's greater dynamic range. There's more detail in shadow and highlights.
It's really great because especially because it is silent, and obviously, that you do hear fans sometimes on other computers when you're doing processor intensive things, but to be able to do FaceTime calls and not have any sound at all coming out of your computer is amazing, because that's going to help, advance that even further.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, like I'll need to do like some quick VO for some editing. I'm like, oh, I need to do VO, and I'll try to do it. I'm like, oh, you can hear that fan a little bit. So now that it's silent, like it's going to be like a pretty great experience, and it's going to be seamless. I'll like record it, upload it to Final Cut, and there we go.
I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it.
I'm excited.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So MacBook Air, and then also the Mac Mini, which is in a new silver color. I mean, not to take away from the M1 chip, but this is kind of cool.
Absolutely. We love the silver color on Mac Mini. Similar to how MacBook Air redefined that thin and light notebook, Mac Mini really redefines what the ultra compact desktop can do. M1 just takes it to a whole new level. Let's think about why users love the Mini. And it's really 3 things. It's incredible performance. You've got a lot of I/O options, and then you've got all of that in that signature compact design. With the 8-core CPU, you're getting up to 3 times faster CPU performance, 6 times faster GPU performance than the previous quad-core version. And, machine learning tasks, we're talking 15 times faster. We don't get to say these numbers very often when we're introducing new products. You add new connectivity options to it with USB 4, Wi-Fi 6. You can now actually connect a Pro Display XDR at a full 6K resolution, which is incredible. I know you guys have used the Pro Display XDR. It's a stunning display.
Oh, you better believe I'm testing that out. I've got some 8K footage also ready to edit. But that's really impressive, the fact that you're able to go up to 6K resolution off of just like this tiny little device.
What we're able to do in an enclosure this small, a lot of people, they'll have their PC desktops maybe underneath their desk, or they'll put it on a floor somewhere just because it's so large. Mini, it looks amazing in silver. It looks amazing sitting on your desk. And I think what we're really most excited about here is the Mac Mini is our most affordable Mac. It's really about bringing that Mac desktop experience in that small form factor. And our most affordable Mac is now even more affordable. It's actually $100 lower than the previous generation. We think this is just a perfect machine for our customers who maybe they want to try a Mac for the first time and they want to bring their own monitor and keyboard and mouse. This is the perfect machine for that. We're all trying to adapt to new ways to work. We're setting up home offices, or we're setting up a distance learning for our kids. Mac Mini is just the perfect machine for that.
No, it makes sense too because of the small form factor, and it's really powerful. So this could be something great that the parents are able to do their work, and then the kids can also do theirs as well. And because you can use anything with it, you can use any monitor, you can use a TV. I've used my previous Mac Mini as sort of an entertainment device because you can basically bring that entire computer Mac experience to your television. So entertainment, gaming. So it really is an all-in-one.
Absolutely. With the HDMI port, you don't have to plug it. You can plug in a TV, you can plug in your own monitor. It's just, there's a lot of flexibility and versatility here.
Mac Mini, MacBook Air, and then now we also have the MacBook Pro 13-inch, which
My
is
personal favorite, the
for
MacBook
sure.
Pro. And the thing that actually is, I use it for everything. All of my video editing, I've used my MacBook Pro for everything. So I'm excited. So what could we have to look forward to with the new 13-inch MacBook Pro on the M1?
So glad you asked, Jenna. The 13-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 chip is going to be extraordinary. It is extraordinary because with M1, it gets way more performance. And as a result, it's just way more pro. In terms of performance, you get up to 2.8 times faster CPU performance, up to 5 times faster graphics performance, and up to 11 times faster machine learning performance. And as a result, the new 13-inch Pro can do things that no other 3-pound Pro notebook can do, like playback full quality 8K ProRes video in Final Cut Pro or in DaVinci Resolve without dropping a single frame.
I cannot wait to try
That's
that out.
impressive. I know. I mean, we edit all Final Cut, and we've been editing a lot, and we've been dabbling with the 8K. And for you to tell me that I can edit on a 13-inch MacBook Pro 8K,
I'm excited to see Marquez try this because Marquez would always be lugging around his massive iMac to events. So now he can just use his 13-inch MacBook.
oh my gosh.
You get up to 17 hours of wireless web browsing, and you get up to 20 hours of video playback. That's literally the longest battery life that we've ever had in a Mac. And it's gonna be game-changing for pro users. And we've found that, battery life is awesome, not just for these sort of like lighter tasks. Software developers, they're gonna be able to compile 4 times as much code on a single charge on the new 13-inch MacBook Pro. Now, I wanted to point out that the new MacBook Pro has an active cooling system, so it can sustain this awesome performance for hours on end, which is important for pro users like yourself. And in terms of camera ISP, just like the Air, it gets that benefit with an upgrade to, with greater dynamic range and better noise reduction. And all this performance, all this battery life, all these new features, and it still starts at just $12.99 for consumers and just $11.99 for students.
Especially that battery life. I used to kind of gauge battery life as far as like how many trips to New York could I use my laptop? Like, can I go there and back without a charge? Like, what's going to happen? So that's pretty impressive because I used to edit so much like on a plane. So the 13-inch would be a perfect size for that front little table to just be editing. But
Well, now I'm just like, okay, so if I just walk around, I go from my office to my living room, just sometimes I edit in my bed, back to the kitchen. I'm like, where do I have to have my, my charging stations? Like, can I just keep walking around? So that's my new traveling.
And something we don't often think about as something intensive is virtual conferencing. We're on it all day now. And, being able to realize 2 times longer virtual conferencing on a charge, that I think that's really game changer for our customers.
There's been a few times where I'm like mid conference call and I get that little red. I go, oh, I'm like, okay, how do I like play it cool, be like, I have to grab a charger. Or like, no. So hopefully that'll alleviate that now when I forget to plug in my MacBook.
Absolutely. You gauge your battery life by how long the flight is. I gauge it by how much longer I can last on WebEx.
There you go. Yeah.
All day long. It's amazing. Now, Big Sur, I've been testing out the beta actually on my other 13-inch MacBook. So it's going to be really cool to kind of see that difference. So what are your guys' favorite features on Big Sur? Like, what should we be looking forward to as far as the upgrades and the differences?
Yeah, Big Sur is awesome. Obviously, it has a gorgeous new design, which is visible immediately. And it has great updates for apps like Messages and Safari and Maps. And for M1 products, for, the new MacBook Air, for Mac Mini with M1, for the 13-inch MacBook Pro, it's amazing what macOS Big Sur will do because it's been engineered down to the core to take advantage of the capability and power of M1 processors in these products. So you'll see amazing performance and great efficiency as a result of that, that engineering in the OS. And so everyday tasks like waking up your Mac feel instantaneous. Because of that common architecture with M1, you can now run iPhone and, iPad OS apps on the Mac.
You also mentioned a faster solid state drive as well. Is that across the board or is that just specific to one device?
The faster solid state drive is on MacBook Air. So now we're getting up to 3.3 gigabytes per second sequential read speeds, which is phenomenal.
That's impressive because I think a lot of people don't understand those speeds really do make a huge difference when you're editing, copying files, like you said. So now I guess one last question for you. I think we covered so much already in this short amount of time, but I've obviously been a huge Apple fan forever. So I'm just curious, over the years, has there been one moment in Apple history that really stands out for you as wow, that was really impactful or something that was very memorable?
Yeah, so it's not one particular moment, but I think for me, growing up, my experience with Mac was really defined by the, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC commercials. And, this launch, just being able to go full circle and experience that again, kind of, this flood of childhood emotions came back. It was really a really touching moment.
I was so shocked. I was watching it and then I was like, man, I really wish they would have actually done one more thing. And then when that faded to white and PC came up on the screen, I actually had tears in my eyes. I did film a little video of it and I was just like, it was really emotional because that was what you grew up with and you remember that very distinctly as Mac versus PC. And it was just such a cute, fun way to kind of play off of that.
And, speaking of tears, I have to be honest, that intro video where we reviewed some of the awesome folks who use a Mac and, they're some of the people who, have changed the world and continue to do so. It was very emotional to see that because, that's the mission of what we do. We want to make products that change the world and we really feel that way. And we felt that as that video was playing and I certainly teared up as well. So
it was a really great intro.
It was incredible. I mean, every time Apple has those real life stories, I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I the only one crying? I'm like, okay, good. I'm alone in my room. This is fine. But yeah, they really, have a way of pulling at the heartstrings there. But it's incredible. There's so many amazing things that we can do with the technology and just seeing it evolve. And I'm excited for what's happening now and also for what's to come in the future. Because this is just the beginning, I think. Yeah. I think they said, that the family.
Yeah, it's a family of SoCs for the Mac, and M1 is just the first.
It's very exciting. I mean, this is the beginning, and I feel like it's such a great start to kind of just kick off the future of what we can look forward to in Apple hardware.
Absolutely.
Well, the future is now here for Mac.
It is. It's here. Oh my gosh. I'm prepared, but I'm not prepared.
Well, we can't wait once you get your hands on the products. We want to hear all about your experience.
Oh, you will. We will be very obnoxious on social media about it. Don't you worry. I'm it's so fast.
We can't wait.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being on the Same Brain podcast. We really appreciate you taking the time and our audience, I know, definitely appreciates it. So
they do. They love hearing from you guys and just kind of really hearing from you guys, everything that we have to look forward to. So very, very exciting. And also answering some of our questions because a lot of these were questions that people were asking me. And I was like, I don't really have the answer for you. But now you guys can give that to us.
Well, it was an honor to talk to you, and we can't wait to hear what you think about the new products.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This has been so much fun.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on the launch, and we'll see you guys on the internet.
Bye.
One more time for M1.
Let's hear it. That was so much fun. And what's really exciting is this M1 chip really is setting the future of Apple hardware in motion.
I mean, they said this has been a work in progress over the last decade.
Well, it makes sense because back in 2005 is when they first announced that PowerPC was going to be no more. They were moving from the PowerPC IBM chips to Intel. And at the time, I mean, that was also a huge revolutionary move. So now it's kind of moving into this next era where Apple is making these chips in-house. They've already been doing it for the iPad, for the iPhone. So clearly, you know what, Jenna? They know what they're doing.
They do, and they obviously announced the M1, but they said this was going to be a family of other things to come. So what is next? I don't know.
Do you think that they might want to, like, maybe they can adopt me into the family? Like I can be IJM2? I don't know.
No, that's too many.
I would like my own personal chip.
J1.
J1.
Or
IJ1.
IJ1.
I don't know. We can work on it.
This isn't happening, but sure. And this is not what they've been working on for the past decade.
Hey, look at our shirts we have on.
I got the Apple Arcade shirt.
You got that at the Apple Arcade event, and I got this one at the Cupertino, the headquarters, the big store.
The big store? Or is that the one where we got the mugs?
I don't actually remember where I got this one at. I think, yeah, because wait, this is the Infinite Loop one. So this is the actual first Apple. It wasn't the new.
This was not the new.
No, the previous.
So whoever got the mugs?
We did get the mugs there.
Man, I use those mugs almost every morning if it's clean.
My Apple mug is used to put my Apple pencils in.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, we're going to be doing some extensive coverage on all three of these devices, so be sure to check out our YouTube channels, and of course, we'll probably be talking about it here on our podcast as well. Thank you guys again for subscribing to our channels, our podcast channel, and also to our podcast audio, where you guys can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and everywhere that you listen to podcasts. So thank you guys again. I will see you in our next video, wherever that happens to be.
Or, you'll hear us on the next podcast.
That's true.
Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you later.
Bye. Oh, is that the sound of an M1 chip making its way to my door?
You missed the delivery.